Good morning. If you can hear me. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Wait, there's an echo now. Okay. Good morning. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on a sec. Or maybe there isn't. Wait, it's all crazy now. Okay, wait. Good. Sorry. Good more. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Totally good wait, ends it recording. Okay, yes, good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Noelia. Good morning, Luna. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Molly. Good morning, Alyssa. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Amaran. Wait, Amarani, sorry. Good morning, Amarani. Good morning, Nikaya. Good morning, Zitlali. Good morning, Darina. Good morning, David. Good morning, Aja. Good morning in a second, Jean-Pierre. Hold on. Okay. Good morning, Antonio. Definitely. Oh, what was that? Oh my God. Okay. Wait, that is a good question. And that question is on my mind, although I do have to admit, you may have just told me something that I may have overestimated something. All right, hold on a second. Let me just get this thing going. All right, wait a second. I may be off. Wow. All right, I admit, I mean, I already knew this, I was causing problems, but I think I thought next week was the last. Are we actually saying? Okay, no, and I'm sure he's right if Antonio is saying, all right, hold on a second. I knew this, and I think, yes, I've been having a tough time. I think I thought next week was the last week. You're saying this week? Are we saying that actually? Oh my God. All right. Is that, wait, I'm reading the chat again. I'm seeing what Antonio said, obviously, and wow. All right, yes. Okay. I knew this was a thing, but I didn't know it was that much of a thing. I think I thought we had one more week. Wow. All right. That's definitely, wait, and there's more people coming in. All right, that does change my plan for today. That is a fair, wow, that's really set. Yeah, I will admit, no, and this is totally, okay, no, I'm glad you guys are bringing this up. I knew this was a thing anyway, but I will admit, I think I thought what Luna thought, or like, wait, okay, so maybe we better verify this before we go any further. I mean, no matter what, I'm certainly sorry that I don't have your things back yet. And no matter what, I knew this was a squeeze, but wait, class ends. Yeah, okay, that is what so let's, class ends May 17th. Okay, hold on a second. I'm looking at, hold on. Yeah, can we get all right, oh wait, no, there's no my bad. Wait, yeah, nobody should apologize. I mean, besides me, the only one that owes anybody any apologies is me. But yes, we better get this straight right now. I did think, as bad as I thought this was, I thought we still had this week, and I thought we had. So are people agreeing with Lou? I'm looking at the chat. Yeah. Wait, okay, I'm still looking at the chat. Luna says she checked the. Okay, people are still coming in. All right. This is definitely, I mean, this is definitely the thing to talk about right now. I mean, Antonio's right to bring it up. Everybody's right to weigh in. I have fallen behind clearly, and that's not good. And no matter, but we have to make sure we do this right. So okay. So first of all, good morning, Yasmin. Okay, good morning. So my first question is, and again, we're just going to deal with, I mean, if we do nothing else this period, we're going to get ourselves set for this. Do people agree with, or I mean, are people okay with what Jalali and Luna are saying, that like we have today? It sounds like Luna and Jalali are confirming from the calendar that we have today and we have Wednesday. Oh, okay, and she's all right. Thank you, Jalali. Okay, cool. So So what I'm saying for the moment, and I'm going to have to take a breath. I mean, I am going to adjust to this information here and to the, but I'm going to assume until or unless somebody else weighs in the chat, I'm assuming that her link is that Lali's link is confirming. I mean, and I know if I go to the link right now, I'm like going to lose the Zoom thing because I can only do. So I'm relying on you guys to, unless you see something different in her link or some other link. I'm assuming that that's right, that we have today. We've went, okay, cool. Okay, thank you guys. Okay. Now it still doesn't mean, I know that does not fully address Antonio's original question, but okay. And let me also say this too. I mean, the reason if I look, stressy or whatever, it's only because I still believe that your lives will be a lot better when you get these grades back, and and your ability to deal with the final will be a lot better. But no matter what, I mean, even if you told me the classes ended right now, we would still find a way to deal with this. All right, but I am going to think for a second. Okay. Okay. So last class is a week from today. Oh, can you also confirm? Oh, wait. No, and that's fine. No, totally fine. I mean, I'm looking at the direct chat right now. No, and it's good. Actually, hold on a second. Let me respond to quick turn. Okay. No, I mean, again, and let me say again, like even, I mean, this is forcing me. I mean, I have fallen behind on these midterms, and I am bummed out about that. I mean, I'm sure some of you got the message that I put in the Google stream, and so this just confirms even more that I have to confront this reality with you. But let me also say, I'm worried about that because I am failing you guys in not giving them back. I'm not actually worried about your ability to succeed in this class, and I sort of tried to imply that even in the Google message that I said this morning. That is to say, believe me, one thing you all should know, maybe if this is not clear, like whatever we get to in the class is what's on the final, and or vice versa. Don't worry. If any of you is still thinking that there's some like final exam that's taken out of a textbook or something like that, and that you have to know everything on the final, even if we never once discussed it in class or something, it's not like that kind of situation. I promise you that. Like if the final had to be right now, the final would be on what you've learned with me and Woo, nothing more, nothing less. So, so in that sense, that's one of the reasons I'm not actually panicked. And I hope that's clear to everybody. You're going to be tested on what we've learned together as a group. You're not going to be tested on something that somebody thinks you were supposed to have learned that we never got to or something. And one of the that doesn't solve all of our problems right now, but that's one of the reasons I'm not, I'm that this will work out is, and I can say that to all of you because in the worst case scenario, let's even say there's something you absolutely need to know because of physics 204, which comes next, right? But that we didn't get to or something here. Again, if I haven't mentioned, like I'm the 204 guy, I will know exactly what you did here and what you didn't. So even if I have to teach you something quickly in the first week, which sometimes happens or something, I will. Like, so nobody should worry about that. But I would know that the thing that you are worried about or should be or whatever is that you want to get your midterm grades back. So this is good that I wasn't going to deal with this all right now, but I'm glad we are. We do have to, but I do need a moment to think. Can someone tell me also while I'm thinking or while we're doing this? I appreciate that everybody just verified with the links, like what the last day of class is. Um, um, can someone also verify while I'm thinking or while we're talking? If the last day of classes is the 17th, could someone verify then when final exams begin? Okay. Yeah. Could somebody verify when final exam week officially begins and ends? So I'm not thinking something crazy about that. If that makes sense. I mean, I assume we still have and we're still going to do the final the way I said, but if someone could look up. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Lali. All right. So 19. Okay. I'm just looking at the whole. Wow. All right. So everything is, I see. 25th. Okay. Let me ask one more informational question. And again, if we spend this whole period just working out this plan right now, which might happen, then we do. Like what might end up happening, because you're all telling me this and this is good. I'm going to tell you right now, what might end up happening this period is we may break into groups to work on this, and I may be giving you your practice exam this period. I mean, I'll need a couple of minutes to put it together. But we might start working on it this period in light of this. And actually, as I'm saying this, I think this is what's going to happen. Basically, I think what's going to happen is this, somehow in the middle of this period, I will get you some version of the practice exam. We'll even start looking at it this period and next period. And somewhere in there, I'll be grading your things too while we do this, if I have to do it that way, so that we'll be just all putting this all together as a group in the next two periods. In other words, I might stop lecturing like right now. I might not, but yes, I get that we have to deal with all this. What was I just thinking? So a couple of questions I have in order for me to get this straight. Last May 19th. Okay, right. So good. Okay, good. So three of you, and I appreciate, and all this does count as participation too. I'm glad that Jitlali and Catherine and Alyssa are all confirming the same thing, 1920. So it's still going to be the case. I can tell you this. Your final exam in physics, which will still be a take-home thing, and which will still be a do it however you want thing. And you can help each other. And we'll probably now, one thing I'm learning from this discussion right now, I can tell you that your take-home final exam, if nothing else, is going to be shorter than it might otherwise have been. I mean, that much I can tell you right now, partly because I've taken so long with your midterms and I know that's an issue, partly because I see that we're in a time squeeze and it might be, oh, did I just lose? What did I just lose? Oh, I just lost the board. Hold on a second. I can tell you for sure right now, your final exam is going to be shorter than I otherwise would have made it. I mean, that's one adjustment I can make to this fact. I think I just lost my board, did I? Okay. And again, I might be getting the document to you right in the middle of this period if that's what it takes. So in order for me, and I already knew pretty much what I thought was going to be on it, but I'm adjusting in my mind as we speak. So let me ask you this. Last time I asked you, with regard to Professor Wu, with regard to lab, the lab that I'm most interested in knowing about, the thing that your final exam really would have been centered on, you might be able to guess this from the way we've been talking in class. The thing that I'm the most concerned about is lab 5. And I know last time you told me that that's been adjusted and you don't have a formal report due, I believe. You don't, well, let me back up. By lab 5, I mean what we used to call slow down. The lab, when I say lab 5, what I'm okay, we don't have it. No report is due. You're just going over, but you are going over. So tell me, because specific, and are we both in agreement? And thank you, Catherine and Ashley. Are we all in agreement that when I say lab 5, I'm picturing the one where there's like an inclined plane, something goes up and then it automatically, like you send something up, it goes to the top and then it comes back down Tomorrow we'll present the info. Okay, okay, cool. And calculations. Okay, so even if no report is due, you are like, think that is what you're thinking about these days in lab. Like tomorrow you're presenting the info calculation. So he is asking you to do something, like you are thinking about it at home and trying to analyze it. Yes. Okay. And that's good. Because okay, and I'm not saying that lab is easy or something. I'm not assuming it's easy. In fact, I know it can be very, very hard depending on how much work is due. And of course I know that every lab now is like a simulate. I mean, I don't even know what it means that you're doing labs at home on Zoom, and maybe we'll have a chance for me to hear more today. But I can tell you right now, and I think this is good news, if that's what you're being asked to think about in lab right now anyway, if that's where your lab thoughts and effort is going, that very lab, that's what I would want your final exam to be about anyway. Maybe I would have wanted to put a bunch more on the final exam, like I would have actually, but I can tell you right now that basically, so that you're not pulled in three different like that's important material. That's like the material that is where we'd want to have landed our heads before Physics 204. And again, honestly, in some other semesters, there might have been some other things we would have done too, but it doesn't matter. Like we'll catch up with those things, and it's obviously not your fault. And it's COVID. Like I think we all have to be generous in what's going on in COVID and during Zoom. So one thing I'm going to say right now is what your final exam responsibility will be, your final document, and what your practice exam will be that I'll probably give you right in the middle of this period is basically going to be a testing of the inclined plane that you're studying in lab 5. I'm going to basically try to make, or we have tried to make in the past, your final reckoning for me just another perspective on exactly what you're doing for him. In other words, hopefully you don't have to do two whole different sets of work and thoughts for him and me. The more you understand whatever you're doing for him, the better you'll be for me, and vice versa. That's one thing I can tell you. I mean, and if your final exam is usually like 3 or 4 long problems, I'm going to tell you right now, it'll be like 1 or 2. And it will essentially be that lab. Okay. And I'm being vague right now, but again, I'll probably stop and start putting this out to you right in the middle of this period, probably. But I'm also, I know I have to get your other things back. And again, it will be due, like I said before, like once, okay, I'm going to tell you this too. Another thing I can do to sort of adjust to this, we keep, because Antonio is right, and all of you are right, but I mean, Antonio was right at the beginning of this period to ask, like, how are we going to deal with the practice exam and all that? I will tell you this now too. The difference between what we're calling because I see that time is getting squeezed, and yes, I knew it was getting squeezed, but okay, it's squeezed even more than I thought. The difference between your practice exam and your final exam is, yeah. So what I'm basically saying is, at this point, there's not going to be much of a difference between what we're calling your practice exam and your final exam. I'm going to start scrambling sort of right now or today to get you the document that essentially will be your final exam. And we will start working on it here or Wednesday while I try to race to get you back your other exams, or race to catch up with that. And in fact, all right, here's how we're going to do this. I see how we're going to do this. Let me just close the door 1 second. I think the most fair and direct and efficient way to do this and to answer Antonio's question about solutions and everything is going to be a hybrid of what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to tell you right now that anything I say, any notes that I take, that I continue to do with you guys, no, sorry, let me back up and say this more calmly. So, and I know you guys it's clear you guys pay attention. I mean, from the way you're all weighing in on like every little question I'm asking here, like 5 of you are weighing in answers and then 2 more in the private chat. So I totally appreciate it. And it totally indicates that you all are with me. So I think you remember, like last Wednesday, we were doing free body diagrams in slightly more detail, right? Like we had started free body diagrams like 3 days ago, and we just had 1 arrow. And then as of last Wednesday, we added 1 more arrow, like we had an object on a table. Now, your thing that you're doing for Woo, your lab 5, is a thing on a table, right? Only the table is slanted and the thing is sliding down or sliding up, and there's friction on the table. In other words, and all the analysis and everything, I don't know if you've noticed this yet or whatever, but all that what he's looking for you to do is a detailed free body diagram and then an application of F equals MA to that diagram. What I'm saying is this. I'm going to continue adding arrows to the diagram that I was making last Wednesday. I'm going to continue adding arrows and adding details, because what I was trying to do then, what I'm still trying to do, is just make that situation increasingly complicated to catch up to exactly what you have in the lab, which is an inclined plane with friction. What I'm trying to say right now is this problem that I'm trying to solve, or this situation that I'm trying to analyze for you, is literally your final exam. Like, consider, hopefully I will give you the question by the end of this period, but I'm telling you right now and I'll try to be more direct as I go back to discussing this. I will try to, while I'm discussing this, I will try to point out exactly as I'm going, this is the solution. What I'm giving you is the answer to the question of the final exam. And I'll even try to say that while I'm going, like, here's what the question will be here. And I will try to get you the document by the end of this period if I can do two things at once. But, and it will be clear when I'm writing things down. But so, all right, let me back up for a second. In lab five, this is how I understand it. And I should stop to ask you how you understand, or you should interrupt me if what I'm saying is not driving with you. But here's how I understand lab five. You send something up an inclined plane, and then it comes down the inclined plane. Inclined plane means it's a surface, but it's slanted. I mean, that's what incline means, it's slanted. And also in the context of lab five, there's also friction on this plane. So you send this thing up, and then it slows down while it goes up, and it reaches a peak height, and it starts coming back down of its own accord. And the ultimate thing in lab five, you're asked at the beginning to sort of predict, I believe, you're asked to predict whether the up trip and the down trip would take the same time, or whether the up trip would take more time than the down trip, or whether the down trip would take more time than the up trip. Okay, I believe you're usually asked to predict that. Most normal people, even if they've had some physics for a while, most normal people, certainly including me, if they were just asked to predict, they would probably assume that something going up takes more time than it does to come down. Or maybe if they've had just enough physics to know that gravity is always the same rate, whether you're going up or down, maybe, or just because they're used to the trickiness of physics, some people would predict, oh, I bet this is like a physics trick. I bet they're going to take the same amount of time going up and down. What it turns out, as I think you know, and I'm trying to say this as fast as I can, what I think you have already probably found out is that in reality, actually, if you have an inclined plane that has friction and you send something up, and then let it come back down, it actually takes more time to come down than to go up. That's like punchline number one of lab five. And that's true, right? And stop me if that's not what you understand or if that confuses you. And that is supposed to be a surprise, but it is supposed to be true, that things will take longer to come down than they will to go up. And the real whole purpose of lab five is, first of all, to show that sort of surprising thing. But then to show that if you understand free body diagrams well enough, and if you understand how to use a free body diagram to do F net equals MA, then you could prove to yourself that actually should make sense, that it actually does make sense, that something would take longer to come down on a friction inclined plane than it would to go up. Now, again, please stop me if your data, I mean, I know these things are hard now to do on Zoom, so I don't know if the sequence has been different, but generally, when we do lab five, what happens is everybody predicts, most people predict wrong, and then they find out from there, and then some people get bad data, so they have to redo it. But by the time everybody's gotten data, what they find is that their data set, and maybe someone confirm or deny, does your data, have you gotten up to this point? Do you realize like the data tends to suggest that coming down takes more time than going up? Like, am I crazy? Am I just like spouting stuff, or is that at all what I'm like worried that no one's saying anything at this point, but I'll say while I wait for somebody to weigh in, the purpose of lab five is to use free body diagrams to show why that surprising result is actually true. And I will tell you right now, and I would like people to weigh in. I will tell you right now that your final exam will be literally that problem, will be like draw the free body diagrams of something going up, draw the free body diagrams of something going down, use the free body diagrams to do F net equals MA, use F net equals MA to show why something going up would take less time than something going down. Like that is your final exam. I'm going to tell you right now. And I think I could even say, and maybe then at best I'll ask a question like, how does this relate to Galileo's principle of relativity? You know, which is a thing that we've been threading through. Okay, I'm saying that now, and I'm going to try to give you that document, hopefully by the end of this period. But I'm also going to tell you that anything I'm lecturing, anything that I've been trying to lecture anyway, but now I'll be more explicit. Whatever I'm trying to say in lecture about these these arrows in the free body diagram, it's all an attempt to show exactly what I just said. So if I go back to lecturing in a minute, or if I go back to the notepad and start drawing things, what I'm literally drawing is the solution, is the step-by-step solution to that question. Again, I'm not trying to trick anybody. I'll write this down and give you the, but now I'm a little bit stressed about time too, so I don't know which one to do first, but I'm telling you, or I will now tell you, what your final exam will be is essentially it's the lab report that you don't have to write for him, I guess. But that's what your final exam will be, is to do free body diagrams and use them to show why something going up an inclined plane would take less time than something coming down an inclined plane. And again, the solution is exactly what I'm going to give you in the notes here. In fact, I might pause for a second to see if I can even get the document out and give it to you right now. The document meaning the practice exam. If I am able, like in the middle of this period, to give you what we're calling the practice exam, I will also tell you it's not the practice exam. It is the exam. Like it's the practice exam in that I'm giving it to you, you know, before exam time, and so that you can practice it and stuff. But whatever I give you at this point will be the real thing. And anything I talk about in class, like, let me put it another way, anything I'm saying in class, once we get back to physics, is the solution. What I'm doing in class is trying to work out your final exam answers for you. So if you're paying attention, what you're doing is you are taking notes on the solutions to the final exam. And I believe me, I won't try to trick you. I don't even have I won't try to trick you. So what I want to do, all right, I'm going to pause for a second and see if I can even put this document in your, if I can put the exam in your stream right now, if you give me a moment. But can I just get confirmation? The thing I just described about Lab 5, does that sound like what you think Lab 5 is? Or has it changed so drastic? Like, do you know what I'm talking about going faster up and slower down? Does that sound familiar, or is that not? Or have I lost I see nothing in the chat, so I'm a little bit worried. Have I freaked everybody out? What is going on here? That's fair. Well, that's very honest. Oh, you have it. Wait. Oh, you haven't looked at it. Oh, okay. No, that's on it. No, so no wonder you wouldn't understand what I'm talking. Okay. But yet it's okay. Okay. So here's what we're gonna. Okay. No, and I'm not trying to trap anybody. If you. No, I got, yeah, prof, right? I got it. Okay. Prodefer woo, right? No, okay. And look, the last thing I'm trying to do is make anybody. I am not trying to trap you guys into admitting that you're behind, or like I'm not trying to test to see whether you're confused or not. If you haven't thought about it, you haven't thought. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not saying anything in contradiction to what you. Oh no! Oh wait! Question in it. Oh, I see what's confusing people too. Hold on. There's a question in the private chat. Let me. No, I am saying. Oh no! Wait a minute. I'm not saying you have 2 more exams. No. I'm saying there's only 1 more exam left in this class, and that is the final exam. The only thing left is just I still have to give you your midterms, and so I feel so guilty about that. I'm sure that's confusing everything. No, wait. I'm saying there's only 1 responsibility you guys have left in this class for, 1 big responsibility left for grade, and that's your final exam. If it sounds like I'm referring to 2 more tests, no, what I'm saying is that we had promised, and what we normally do is give you a practice exam before you have the final. And so what I'm just trying to say right now is, no, you only have 1 thing left. All of you only have 1 thing left, and that's the final. I'm not saying there's another test happening before then. No way. All you have left is the final. What I'm really trying to say is I want you to know fully what's on the final before you even get there. Yeah, that I don't know. That is a fair. So wait, 1 question at a time. So first of all, the question in the direct chat, all you guys have left is the final. I'm just trying now to scramble because I promised you'd have a practice final and stuff. And because time is zipping away, I'm trying now to say that I'm going to actually try to get you this fine. First of all, what I'm trying to say is anything I talk about in class from here on, whatever limited class times we have left, anything I talk about in class is totally for your final. Like it's not only on the final, but whatever I'm saying in class essentially are the answers to the question on the final. And I'm going to try to get you, and even though technically the final will be posted at like next Monday night, I guess, or at the end of classes, and technically you'll have all the final exam period to do it. I'm trying to scramble now to get an advanced copy of it to you way before then, so that well, not way before then, but now, so that there's no surprises. So there are not two tests or anything. There's one test. It's just, I want you to know exactly what's on it before it even comes out. So I may pause for a second to get it to you right now. Now, as far as Antonio's question, right, it may be difficult because I've taken so long with your midterms, it would be difficult. I don't know what to promise about test corrections for the midterm. I can definitely promise you that there's going to be generosity in the grading on all of this. Like, I'm definitely aware that I've caused a problem by taking so long with the midterms. So I can certainly promise that there's going to be compensation in some way for that. The only reason I don't want to promise test corrections themselves is that sometimes they take so long to do and to grade that I'm not sure how I can actually turn those around in time. But I can't. I mean, it's a fair question. So again, there was one question in the private chat that was private. So, and that was what I'm trying to address by saying, no, there's only one more thing left, and that's the final. Maybe that person in the private chat could just confirm to me that they understand my answer if I've answered that clearly. But then as far as Antonio's question in the public chat, okay, thank you. Great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, Antonio's question in the public chat is a totally fair question, because I do usually like, if there's time, to do test corrections. And I know I've said things like that. I don't honestly know how there's going to be time to do that, but I can tell you, that I've taken so long with these things. When you guys get these back, if any of the grades are like really dismal or disappointing or shocking to any one of you as individuals, we will find a way as individuals to do something about that. Like, what I do understand is you cannot just find out in the last week of class, all of a sudden, that you're failing the class and that there's nothing you can do about it. Like, so that will not happen. If one of you, by God, what's the word? Like, God forbid, quark forbid or something. If one of you all of a sudden gets this midterm back and all of a sudden it's like a way lower grade than you ever thought you were having in this class, and all of a sudden you think your grade in this class is much more dangerously bad than you thought, there will be an opportunity to do something about that. Like, nobody is all of a sudden going to fail this class and have or get a C in this class and have no room to do something about it. So, I mean, the larger answer to Antonio's question is, like, will there be an opportunity to fix things before you're doomed? Yes. I don't know if they'll exactly be test corrections. It might be that I have to give you some extra credit, other thing or something. And it might have to be even on an individual basis. But I get that it's not cool and not fair for someone just suddenly to have no time to fix a situation just because I've taken so long. Like, okay, and that's also why what I think I'm going to do right now, given all of this, in a second, I'm going to pause. I'm going to look for what I think is pretty much going to be close to your final exam and give it to you right now. Okay, and if I'm going to give it to you right now, I might still have to like improve it or correct it or finesse it. So that's why it's called a practice, and I'll update you as that's going. But I want to give you some kind of document right now that you can work with and know basically would look like it. And we will just spend, if I can take 10 minutes, if people don't mind, I'll take 10 minutes to put together, because obviously I have old documents and stuff. If I can succeed in about 10 minutes in getting you what I think more or less would be your final exam, then we'll just spend the rest of today and Wednesday and Monday working on it together, like me solving it for you which is what I was doing in lecture anyway. You just don't know that. And so that's what we'll do for the next 3 days, is essentially solve the final exam together. And then anybody who's really paying attention and taking notes and also maybe watching the videos will be in a perfect position to do the final. And the final will be due, this I can tell you, the final will be due the last night of final exam period. So if you guys are telling me that final exam period goes, I'm just scrolling back up. You're saying final exam period goes from the 19th to the 25th, and the 25th is what? Is a Tuesday? I'm looking again. Hold on. Right. If final exam period literally goes through the 25th, then what I'm telling you right now is that your final exam will be due to me in Google Classroom. Can I say this? Yeah, 11:59 p.m. on the 25th, if that makes sense. Okay. And I'll put that in Google Classroom. But so does that make, all right. So, and that means officially it would be posted like a week before, like it'll be posted. The official actual final exam will be posted at the beginning of, on the 19th. Yeah, essentially the 19th, maybe the 18th. And so you have the whole week to do it. But what I'm also trying to, and that would be the official document that actually you have to do. What I'm trying to say too, though, is if you give me 10 minutes, I can basically give you a document now that will look as close as possible to that real thing. And the only differences will be that as we get close, if I realize there's errors or something, I'll tell you as we go, okay, update this, I'm going to update that. But you'll basically, you'll have the rough draft. That's what you, instead of calling it the practice exam, what you'll have is the rough draft of your final exam, hopefully in a couple of minutes. And then we will be working on it together today, Wednesday, and Monday. And somewhere in there, I'll be racing to get you your midterms back, so at least you can know about your grades. So okay, let me just look in this. Okay, so if that sort of makes sense, give me a minute if you don't mind, or give me 5. And you can also collect your thoughts, talk maybe I'll even, well, yeah, I mean, talk amongst yourselves or whatever, if you have more questions, if this is not making sense, but give me a couple of minutes to get a document to you, if that's okay. Bear with me. But again, right. I mean, make sure you understand what I'm saying now. I'm saying some of it off the cuff, obviously, but we just, okay. Wait. Well, not that I know. No, I don't think so. But frankly, at this point, if someone did, I would view that partly as my failure, not entirely theirs. So I wish I knew. I mean, if I had them all back to you, that would help. I don't think that anybody did, and I don't hope anybody did. And by the way, I think this is a very good class so far, which is also why I feel guilty about all this. But if someone did, if I find while I'm scrambling that someone did really badly in the midterm, I will talk to that person personally, and we'll figure out what's going on, what to do. And they will have, I mean, obviously, we can't just automatically give everybody an A just for existing. But if anybody's in jeopardy, I will talk with them and we will see what to do. And we'll try to rectify that situation before the final exam. Because again, so far, what I know about this class is, I mean, you are not a failing type of class. And I should say again, too, I want to stop talking for a second so I can get you this document. Just remember, I mean, I have to give fair grades. I can't just give people A's just for existing. On the other hand, just remember, I have no problem with everybody getting an A. Like if everybody got 100 on the exam, I'm delighted, and so are you. And I won't curve it down to make sure someone failed or something like that. Like I'll just be relieved if everybody got an A. It's not like somebody has to fail or something. So I'm hoping as much as you guys that nobody did. But all right, so but I have to get you that. That's the problem. That's why I'm a little bit jittery, because I know this would all be a lot easier if you knew your grades on the midterm, and you don't because of my failure. And some of that, this whole COVID situation is a little rough on all of us, and I'm having family thing, blah, blah. But but give me a second to try to find, I think I can get you your final exam right now. Hold on. And that, and I'll also say, I'm trying to get your final exam right now, but also, well, anyway, all right, no, I'll shut up. Let me just hold on a second. Oh, in fact. And folks, sorry about this. I'm actually this. We're almost. I almost have something for you that I have. If you continue to bear with me for a minute or two more, I haven't just left. What I'm about to give you is what I was hoping I had. I have pretty much the final exam which is fully solved actually. So it's got solutions in it and the questions. I'm just slightly revising it so it's clear and current and relevant. But so I appreciate your patience. Give me a couple minutes more, and then I think this will help us a lot. And so we thank you for your support. Just hang on a couple more seconds. Okay. 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 Hey. Okay. I am hitting, I'm about to put this in your thing. We will talk about this right now. Yes. The first thing is going to happen is you're going to tell me if you get this in 1 second. Okay. Okay. So the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to check what you should just have now gotten, what you should be getting right now in your Google stream, or I don't even know if it comes through email or whatever, but you should see, and someone please tell, oh, I'll look in the chat. You should see, oh, good. Thank you, Catherine. Oh, that was fast. All right, thank you. Okay. Oh, that is very nice. Um, okay, I will try to call. Okay, so the thing that you just got in your Google, I mean, it sounds like it was confirmed, and you can still, other people can confirm too. Like, I totally appreciate that Catherine just confirmed it. I also don't want to think that only one person got it or whatever. So what you got there, what you got there is essentially is your final exam. Your final exam might even be shorter than that. Like, I might still cut out things. Like, I might cut out something at the end. I'll talk to you about that. And it might even still look intimidating. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying physics is easy. Obviously, no matter what, physics is not easy. But part of the reason that thing might look intimidating or long is that it is solved right there in the document. And maybe for some of you also might want to at some point for practice, like copy the questions on a blank sheet or something without the answers, but whatever, that thing is the final exam with the answers in it. And I'm telling you right now that your final exam at best might be shorter than, like, I might cut some things out of that, but I won't add anything to your final exam. I won't make that longer or anything. And what we will spend the rest of our time doing for the next whatever minutes we have today and Wednesday, I will try to walk you through that thing, okay? And what that thing also is, whether you know it or not, yeah, it is essentially, it's an investigation of Lab 5. So whatever he's having you do, I mean, it'll cover that as well, or it will help you with that as well. What it's really about is really understanding how to how to make free body diagrams and break them up into vector components. So, okay, it's, again, I'm not saying it's a joke. Like, everybody will have to study and everything, and it will help to look at the videos of whatever classes we've had so far. But that's what your final exam will be. Oh, and what I'm trying, and that's the pre-document. So that's not due. You never have to hand that thing into me. You don't get any points for that. That's just so that you have it. And from here until, and so when final exam period actually begins, I'll post your actual thing. You'll have the week to do it at home, blah, 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 with each other, blah, blah, blah. And as we get closer to that, every time I notice something there that's wrong or that I want to make slightly better for you or slightly simpler or clearer, I will tell you, and then I'll just like update, the newer draft. So that's like the rough draft of your final. That's I should just call it that. That's the rough draft of your final exam. And any tweaks we make to it will be for the benefit of making your life clearer and easier, not the other way around. And we will release those updates so that you know. Okay, so sort of like we're all just studying for the final exam together, including me. And somehow in this, as we're doing this, if it does seem like by Wednesday, if we're getting calmer or we're starting to understand what it is better, I'll also try to take time out of the class to scramble back your midterms. Obviously I'd rather be not spending class time doing that, but I need to get them back to you. So if I have to, that will happen. There was one other. What time is it? Okay, so I know we've got like 15 minutes. In a minute, I will go back to the board then. So, but again, from now on, anything that I'm saying on the board, any notes that we're taking, like usual class, anything that you see with arrows or free body diagrams that I'm drawing on the board, I promise you, they're not just abstract material. They literally are that. They're my explanations of that thing that I just put in your stream. So in theory, you would never pay attention to me again. You could, if you really understood how to go through that, walk yourself through that document, and if you could really follow those solutions as though it were a textbook, then you'd be set. It's just, I don't know about you. I can't learn from textbooks any more than a lot of you can. So I think it helps to talk about it. But whatever I'm talking about here is that. One other side note, by the way, and I do, again, let me apologize again. I don't want to over apologize, but I also, if I sound stressy at all, yes, it is because I am a little bit, but I don't want to make you guys any more stressed. That's not my intention here, or far from it. I do think you're a great class, and I really do mean that, and especially under these Zoom conditions. Like, I feel like I know you people a lot better than I would have ever imagined knowing anybody under Zoom conditions. So a couple of quick things on that too. One reason that I might be even a little bit more frazzled than normal, I don't know if you've heard, I've been trying to keep you updated about what next semester is going to look like. And I've been trying to give you advice about Physics 204 because a lot of you do have to take it. And I do very much look forward to seeing a lot of you in it. But I've been, last time we checked, I updated you that 90% of the John Jay classes were going to be online or remote or hybrid or whatever, even through the fall. Well, you may be hearing rumors, and they are true. Just so you know, I've been in meetings now, deep in meetings last Thursday and last Friday, and I'll be in meetings again this Friday with my department. There has been a change in CUNY, you may have heard, and it is throwing everything into and that change. And again, I don't say this to scare anybody, and maybe this is good news, but there is now a mandate from the chancellor that says we have to get, we were 90% online for the fall, but so that you know, we all have to redo all of our teaching schedules now, and they're going to redo enrollment. Yeah, right. What Catherine's saying, let me just read it. Right. Okay. So I don't want to waste your time dwelling on that now, but that is correct what Catherine's saying. If you haven't heard that, we're suddenly going all back to the drawing board and changing everything. And their target is to get, for the fall, summer is still the summer, whatever it is for the summer. But for the fall, they now have a target number of 60% in person or hybrid in person or something. Whereas up until recently, it was 10% in person. So all the schedules for the fall are being redone. It is now distinctly possible that when you take, if you take physics in the fall, if you take it in the fall, it's distinctly possible that some aspect of it will be in person with me. Right. Okay, thank you, Anto. I didn't know that. Right, so everything, right. So, and I don't even know if that's good news or bad news. I mean, in the long term, I think that's great news, of course, but it is throwing everything into a little bit of flux. And that includes us, you and me. Like, am I teaching Physics 204 in person or hybrid or online in the fall? Now, I honestly, literally do not know. What do I recommend? I do not know. But I still want to see, I'm still teaching 204 no matter what. And I still want to see you all in 204. And I want you all to do well in 203. And whatever we perfectly don't cover in 203, I will know it and we'll deal with it in 204. But whether that's going to be in person or online, that is now completely in flux. So a lot of things are in flux now. So believe me, I know how crazy that must be for you guys, and it is a little crazy for me. So I appreciate that we're all just hanging together on this. All of it just says, though, any illusion that this is life as normal, any idea that I would hold you to the exact same set of expectations or expect the exact same whatever that I normally would in the year 2019 is absurd. Like, this is obviously a different situation. And I feel like you guys are treating me with a lot of compassion and forgiveness on that. And I really appreciate it. And definitely it's going back in your direction too. Like there's got to be a lot of room for forgiveness and second chances and understanding in all of this for all of you. And the best way I could put that, and then I will shut up and go back to free body diagrams, is what I really mean by that, especially those of you who are anxious in any way that you feel like I have not addressed directly. Like, you might be sitting there thinking, well, okay, yeah, but you don't understand. My situation doesn't even have to do with that. My situation is some other thing. One thing I know at this point, one thing I was learning as a physicist anyway, and as a human being, but I'm definitely learning in COVID, is that we all don't know what we don't know, right? Everybody's situation is different, and everybody's situation is weird and horrible in some way that nobody else thought about, including me. I get that. I get that I don't get how hard your situations are for reasons that I haven't even addressed here. And all I can say about that is I will know that when I'm getting you back your grades. I will know that when I'm doing your grades. I will know that when I'm teaching you 204. I know that I don't know what I don't know. Okay. And I know that in the final analysis, as much as I care about education and you care about education, in the final analysis, you first and foremost care about your life not being a wreck. And that means first and foremost, not suddenly failing something for reasons that have nothing to do with you. Now, I mean, some of you like still might fail on your own merits, like that can happen, but I know there's got to be a lot of room for understanding and discussion before any axe falls on anybody that feels permanent. Okay. So just even in the final thing, when you get your grades from me, you can still come to me and talk about your grades. And I do change grades when I have to, and I don't mind it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. All right. So anyway, okay. So let's go back to free body. We got like 10 minutes, but let's go back to free body diagrams. So for those 10 minutes. Hold on. So I'm just going back to the notes here. Oh yeah. All right. All right. This is actually, I know we have like 9 minutes. This is a perfect amount of time to at least do something. So go back. So I'm in the same note packet that I was, 2 days ago. I'll distribute, I'll put this notes in the PDF again in Google when we're done. But where we were 2 days ago, we were looking at an object on a plane. We haven't inclined it yet. Like we have to tilt it to make it like the lab problem or to make it like the final exam problem. But for the moment, let's even stick with just the fact we had this object on a desk. Okay, and here we go. The last thing I said about the diagram was that we had 2 arrows in the diagram, one pointing up that I was calling desk and one pointing down that is mg for gravity. Let me talk about that desk one for a minute. And this is where we left off last time. The last thing I said, the last thing I said was in blue on the side of this page. I wrote this crazy N with serifs on it. That's the N that with the 8 minutes left, I want to talk about that N. Okay. Okay, the thing I want to say in English is that, okay, remember, a force is a push or a pull. A force is an interaction between any 2 objects at all. It could be between planet Earth and a human body, could be between a string and a fish, could be between a surface and another surface. Right now, I want to focus on what a surface pushes on another surface. When a surface pushes on another surface, surface of any kind, a desk against a piece of paper, a desk against an eraser, a desk against a sliding cart like in the lab. Now, here's the thing. In reality, in the actual real world, all surfaces are at least somewhat rough. No surface is perfectly smooth in the real world. Even if it's very, very, very smooth, like ice or something, surfaces still have are made of atoms. Atoms have electrons on the outside. And atoms are never fit together in a perfect alignment. So there's always like little bumpy ridges of electrons on the outside of any surface. So whenever you put 2 surfaces together in the real world, if you look at the 2 surfaces microscopically, it's like looking at 2 combs pushing against each other that have teeth that get interlocked, or it's like taking, like, even though you think you're putting a piece of paper against a desk, in the real world, if you look at it microscopically, you're really putting like a little English muffin against like another English muffin, or like a mountain range against another. And so what happens is, if you push two things together like this, if you squeeze two things together, their ridges, their microscopic ridges, or their bits of roughness, get locked into one another. And so that the harder you push them this way, the harder it is for them to rub alongside each other like that way. Okay. So for any two surfaces that are ever pushed against each other, we can think of two axes. We can think of the axis that's perpendicular to the plane. Sorry, let me back up. We can think of, first of all, like the plane of contact. Like if two surfaces are being pushed against each other like this, you can picture like a plane, like a Euclidean surface, like an infinitesimally thin piece of paper between the two things. And think of that as their plane of contact. So if two surfaces are like two pieces of bread, like you think of like an infinitely thin, like piece of bologna or the hamburger or whatever, cheese between the two pieces of bread. That we call the plane of contact, the plane against which they're making contact. What I want to say is that in the real world, anytime things push against a plane of contact, they automatically have a harder time rubbing along the plane of contact. So think of two axes, an axis like this and an axis like this. If the surfaces are pushing on a diagonal, like they do in Lab 5, think of an axis like that and an axis like that. Oh, in other words, and I know there's 3 minutes. Ah. I'm going to write this on the next page, and this is the last thing I'm going to write. I know there's 2 minutes. I will flip back to that page in 1 second. Okay, I know we have like 1 minute. Oh, did you just, I just lost the board, didn't I? No. Where is? Okay. Okay. And again, I will obviously put these notes in the stream, but here's what I'm saying in the 1 minute we have left. Whenever two things push together, consider two axes. One against the plane of contact, like perpendicular to the plane of contact, and one along or parallel to the plane of contact. Whatever is against the plane of contact, perpendicular to the plane, we call the normal force. Normal does not means in math perpendicular. Okay, so when two things are pushing against each other, if my non-ring hand is pushing against my ring hand, right? I would say that my hand is exerting a normal force against my ring hand. Any surface that's pushing against another is exerting a normal force on it. Normal just meaning perpendicular to the plane. But automatically, when my hands squeeze together, there's also a force that happens along the plane, parallel to the plane, and that's what is known as friction. Okay, Friction, of course, is a word that everybody knows. I'm saying friction is this byproduct or the side effect or the 90-degree effect of what we are now, from now on, going to call the normal force. The normal force is two things pushing against each other. The friction force is two things sliding along each other or rubbing along each other. And so in short, because I just went over time, I'm just saying from now on, that diagram that we made last time where we said we had mg down and the table or the desk pushing up, from now on, we wouldn't call that desk or table or whatever, because we don't care what kind of surface it is. I don't care if it's hand or table or desk or elevator floor. From now on, I would just call it N for normal, just meaning some surface is pushing up on the object. And once the object starts to move, then there's going to be a friction arrow on the other axis. That's where the lab, that's what we'll pick up with that on Wednesday. But all of that is just to say, from now, we don't ever say desk or table or anything. We say normal force. And it just means surface pushing perpendicular to plane of contact. Sorry that took so long. Sorry about all the. We'll pick up on this Wednesday. But now that document that's in your stream is what the final exam is if you want to start preparing. And it's the answer. Okay. Thank you so much for being so patient. I'm going to run because I have the other class coming in. But thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. No, thank you. Yes,
Thank you, Professor.
no, thank you very much. Bye. Bye. Okay.